street. I wanna wake up, I wanna wake up lavishly.
What's up, y'all? What's goody? 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 It's your girl Zeze back with another video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notifications bell, get us join the thumbs up, share these motherfuckers, all that shit, you feel me? So, today's video is going to be about the NCAA creating a new rule against sports agents. So, if y'all don't know, the NCAA, right quick, is just a nonprofit organization basically there to set rules and regulations for college athletes. They recently set a rule that says that all sports agents for the NBA, only for the NBA, must have a bachelor's degree if you're going to represent college students. So, people are now calling this the Rich Paul rule, and this is because LeBron James, who started the Rich Paul rule, at least the hashtag, created the name for it, he started this because that's his agent, and he believes that this rule is kind of targeted toward him, and a lot of people are backing him on this because Rich Paul, if y'all don't know, is literally like one of the highest ranking NBA agents in the game right now. Like, he's literally top 5 according to, what was it, Hoops something, I'll insert a picture of it, but literally he's top 5, and out of that top 5, he's the only one without a bachelor's degree. On top of that, he is the only black man, okay, on that list as well. So, yeah, he really thinks that this is targeted towards him, and not only because of that, because Rich Paul has in the past kind of criticized the NCAA for other things, other rules and regulations they said, other things they've done that he doesn't think was in the best interest of the players. Well, here's the thing. School is not required for a lot of different degrees. We're living in the 21st century, okay? The internet is a lot of people's fucking education system. Like, literally, you can damn near learn anything you want to through the internet. If not through the internet, you can find access to what you want to learn about with the internet as well. You can have access to lectures, have access to books, have access to just different information on websites of people, whatever the case may be, through the internet. So it's a lot of things that now you do not need a degree for, and a lot of that is going with the times. A lot of different companies like Apple, Google, like a lot of companies are starting to realize that and are not requiring degrees for high-ranking jobs. You know what I'm saying? And so agents is a part of that. Like, you do not need a degree to be an agent. The only real things that go into, I'm not going to say the only real things, because I don't want to belittle the job. Like, it's something so easy, anybody can do it. But the main ingredients you need to make up an agent is integrity, for one, which, you know, that's just either you have it or you don't. You need negotiation skills. You need some to some degree, at least some knowledge of the law, you know, and connections. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the major things you need to be an agent, and none of those things you need school for. Not to say that you can't get those things through school, because a lot of, you know what I'm saying, like I said, the ones above him, he's number 5 ranking on that list, the ones above him all have degrees, you know what I'm saying, and went to school. But at the same time, he made that list as well and does not have a bachelor's degree like the rest of them do. So yeah, just to sit up there and say that, you know, it's just kind of ridiculous. Honestly, it literally just doesn't even make any sense to even say that it's in the best interest of the player, because it's not. You know what I'm saying? Who knows what LeBron's contracts or other people's, because he literally, if y'all don't know, Rich Paul represents like 21 very prominent, like, I think it was a 21 or 22 very prominent players, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, he represents 3 of the most valuable players in the game right now. I think it's LeBron, Anthony Davis, and what's the other dude's name? Eric Bledsoe, however you pronounce his name. So he is definitely doing something right that apparently other people aren't doing. You know what I'm saying? Even though he has people ranking above him, he's literally like negotiated almost, I think it's like literally over $500 million money in contracts. It's like 624 million, like some wild ass number. It's over $500 million though, for sure. Like, so he is doing something right he's learned without school. So just to say that it's in the best interest of the players, it doesn't make any sense. And it's not to negate that a lot of players, like, they're right, a lot of players have suffered from agents who doesn't have degrees, but it's not even because they don't have degrees, just because they didn't know what the hell they was doing, or they didn't have the player's best interest in mind. They have been messed up by family members or from other people, close friends, or just from other agents who have came to them and sold them this dream that they're going to do the best for them when they really are not and really did not. So, you know, that's not negating that happens, but that doesn't like, having a degree doesn't determine whether they're going to do that or not, because you have a lot of players in the past who have been who has had agents with degrees, with bachelor's degrees, that still messed them up, still allowed them to end up with terrible contracts or mess up their career in some way. You know what I'm saying? So it's not a determining factor. A bachelor's degree should not be a determining factor whether you're whether you're good enough to be an agent or not, whether you should be certified. Matter of fact, I mean, there's already a requirement that you have to be certified. You have to be certified through the National Basketball Players Association. Anyway, so all the agents have to be certified for them, and Rich Paul does have that. You know what I'm saying? So that should really be the only requirement that's necessary to be an agent. And of course, a lot of people are zoning in on the racial factor of this, because like I said before, he is the only black man on the top 5 list. You know what I'm saying? And for him to be mentoring other black men, not only that, he has his own company. So even though let me just say this, even though this rule doesn't necessarily affect Rich Paul because he's already established, he has agents under him who have bachelor's degrees, you know what I'm saying? So it's not necessarily going to affect him, you know what I'm saying? What it's really going to do is affect another Paul Rich from coming up. So I said Rich Paul. What the hell is going on? But it's really just going to affect another Rich Paul from coming up. So, and that's what they're really trying to do, because if you look at the racial dynamics of this, okay, one, they're only doing this to the NBA. The NBA is dominated by black men, like literally. You know what I'm saying? They make up the majority of the teams. You know what I'm saying? Are black men. So that's one. On top of that, the best players and most valuable players are also black men. You know what I'm saying? On top of that, and then on top of that, to put the icing on the cake, you have a black man who is behind all these other black men who are doing so great in the games. You know what I'm saying? Who are the most wanted, who are the most paid in the games. You have a black man negotiating their contracts. You know, and on top of that, he's on the top 5. So not only is he negotiating the best contracts, but he's literally doing it better than beating out a lot of other educated, you know, white men. So, or white sports agents. So this is not something they want promoted. Of course, we all know, or if you don't know, institutionalized racism is through all streams. It goes through every part of the fucking world that we can think of, every part of our society that we think of, sports being one of them. And black men, you know, mentoring other black men, being good fathers, being good role models, just setting good examples for black men, giving them a good look, has never really been promoted, and they never really want to promote it. You know what I'm saying? So you have this black man who is mentoring these other black men, and not only that, have these black players that are vouching for him, because like I said, look, LeBron is the one who came out first and spoke out like this is messed up. This is a Rich Paul rule. This is specifically against him. So for him to be going so hard for him, that's a really good look for black men. You know what I'm saying? That's a really good look. You know, even if you look at LeVar Ball, LeVar Ball, who's a black man, he's a great role model to his sons, and he's doing a lot for his sons. You know what I'm saying? He's helped his sons a lot. He's guided them in the right way. They own businesses. They got good contracts. They're doing good in school. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're good. They're doing really well. Yeah, and LeVar Ball is banned from all ESP networks. Platforms, because of what he said to some white woman, which was stupid as hell, which wasn't even inappropriate. You know what I'm saying? So they banned him for some stupid reason. And so now they're trying to find a way. They're trying to basically make a chess move against another black man, like they did against LeVar Ball. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is something that's always reoccurred. This is nothing that's you know, that shouldn't even be very surprising, because, like I said, racism goes through every stream of society, entertainment and sports being one of them. And if y'all didn't know, like, of course, I think college is kind of a scam. You know what I'm saying? Like, college is not nothing that's necessary. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, it's not anything that's necessary, especially for a field like this. So, I mean, you might need it for like medical, you know what I'm saying? You're going to be a neurosurgeon or something like that, where you're really going to have to dive deep into, whatever you're doing. So you're really gonna have to need a lot of information on whatever you're doing. Like, that's one thing. But for agents, you just don't need it. The things you learn as being an agent, you can learn through life experiences, through interning with someone, through having a mentor, through things like that. You don't necessarily have to sit in the classroom, get a certain amount of credits, do all these extra classes that ain't got nothing to do with what you're really trying to learn about, and just to get to where you need to be. Honestly, that can slow your roll down. Like, you could be doing so many other things, getting so many more experiences outside of school that now you're kind of prohibited from doing or not able to do because you're sitting in the classroom for 3-4 hours out the day. You know what I'm saying? So you don't need to you just don't need it. Like, a bachelor's degree is just not needed. I seen a video that said that not only Rich Paul, but other sports agents who don't have degrees can kind of put up a lawsuit, can honestly file a lawsuit against the NCAA for this, because what they would call it is a group boycott. They could argue that it imposes rules that makes the marketplace less competitive. Like, other people who don't meet that criteria aren't good enough to still compete. And again, like I said, Rich Paul is the epitome, and he's literally the epitome of the argument. Yes, they might argue, and because that's really what they're trying to say with this rule, is that sports agents with bachelor's degrees are more likely to assist the players in making better decisions whether they want to go pro or stay in school. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, I have to disagree with that because it's biased. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is completely biased. One, you have to look at the numbers. Like, you will literally have to take going back for a few years, looking at the best contracts, you know what I'm saying, the best agents, and looking whether they have degrees in that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these agents do have degrees. A lot of agents do actually have bachelor's degrees, you know what I'm saying? Which is why I said a lot of players, they may have gotten messed up because of sports agents who may have not had degrees, but a lot of them have been messed up even though those agents had bachelor's degrees. And that's why I don't think that they're really going to try. Even if they did do that lawsuit, like, how are they going to do the numbers? I'm not sure what the numbers are when it comes to statistically speaking, what the rates are when it comes to, like, bad deals and contracts and agents, you know what I'm saying, with degrees versus no degrees, because there's less people with degrees than there are with degrees. So I'm not sure how that will really work out, but I don't think it will be in favor of the NCAA. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, majority of them really do be having degrees. And of course, these ones with degrees, like, a lot of them may be more, I think it's biased because a lot of them may be more, prompt to tell them to stay in school. You know what I'm saying? Just because they went to school. And so, a lot of people I know, just me personally, who went to school say, like, oh yeah, you should go to school, it's a plan B. You know what I'm saying? If you, speaking as someone who will be talking to a person in school who's in school, talking to a athlete in school, what if you break something? What if you can't play anymore? What if you rip a muscle? Whatever the case may be, something happens when you can't play. At least you have your degree to fall back on. And so a lot of them might be pushing that on these athletes, even though they may not want that. Maybe they may be in a predicament where they feel like they have to because of their economic situation, their families, whatever the case may be, other factors that make them want to go pro, to make them want to sign. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, some of those agents may not have that in their mind. They might just be like, look, you need to stay in school because, bro, you need to, just in case something happens, you need to have a degree. When that's not necessarily how you think, because even if something does happen to them, you don't need a degree to get where you're going. You know what I'm saying? To do something else. You can still break an ACL, tear an ACL, whatever the case may be, and become a sports agent, or still do something pertaining to that sport without a degree. You know what I'm saying? So, a sports commentator, whatever the case may be, you can still do that you can still do some of those things without having a degree. Like, you don't have to go to school just to understand what else you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't always open up a door. And even if you do get the degree, even if you do tear ACL, whatever the case may be, you can't play anymore, and then you do get the degree, you have the degree to fall back on, it's not guaranteeing you a job. It's not guaranteeing you anything that you get a degree in, a field that you want to get a job in, any field that you get a degree in. You know what I'm saying? So, people it's just bullshit. Like, honestly, the whole rule literally it's a BS rule. Honestly, it's literally just a discriminating unnecessary rule, and it's not and it does not have the best interest of the players. You know what I'm saying? Because not only that, a lot of players who come out of college, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say a lot, but some players who come out of college, they have family members who represent them. You know what I'm saying? Who kind of help them negotiate their contracts, help them decide whether they want to go pro or stay in school. A lot of them may listen to an uncle or aunt or their mom or their father, whatever the case may be, to get the best of where they think they're going to get the best advice from. And you're more likely with that. I'm not going to say more likely, but I am going to say more likely. You're more likely with getting better advice from them because at least it's coming from a perspective where you know they're not trying to get anything out of you. You know what I'm saying? They're not trying to be greedy. They're not trying to gain from it. They're not gaining anything from it. They just want you to make the best decision for you. Like, literally, that's it. And sometimes that's the best, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the best way to go. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you think that this rule is necessary? Do you think this is a BS rule that is just really just trying to target Rich Paul and other Rich Pauls coming up? How do you feel about it? Other than that, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, get a join a thumbs up, share this mug. All that. Other than that, that's all I got. All right.